number 11, our top 5 bets of the week right now. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Matt from GrandSlamBetters.com. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you don't already subscribe, you're going to want to join us for all the free plays that we give. Make sure you hit that bell notification so that when our free plays come out, you don't miss a beat. So let's get started without further ado with our number 5 play of week 11. And that is going to be between the Detroit Lions and the Carolina Panthers. So this game is against two teams kind of going in opposite directions. Detroit's looked well over the last couple weeks or few weeks. Carolina looked awful last week. They lost 46-23 to Tampa Bay. But let's be honest, Tom Brady needed to bounce back after the Saints destroyed the Bucs, and he did. He did with a statement like he's not too old, he can keep playing. So they lost that game. They dropped to 3-7. The Lions, they won 30-27 against a pretty bad Washington football team, but that moves them into a tie with the Vikings at 4-5 at the bottom of that division. They are possible opportunities for the Lions to make the playoffs, and we're going to keep an eye on that. But both these teams trending in opposite directions. There are some injuries. As we know, the Panthers, McCaffrey has been battling injuries all season long. He is again going to be out. But Mike Davis has done a great job filling in at the running back position for the Panthers. So we look like the ground game is going to be okay. Bridgewater makes us nervous. Bridgewater is questionable. And if he doesn't go, William Greer takes over at the quarterback position. He's not great. I believe he came out of West Virginia a couple years ago. He does have some starts under his belt last season when there were injuries as well. But because Detroit doesn't know William Greer, if he does play, I think he can score some points for the Panthers. On the flip side, the Lions are going to be without Amendola, Galladay, and their running back Swift, who had a great game last week against the Washington football team. Stafford, though, has been unbelievable. He's been throwing for a ton of yards. He hooked up with Marvin Jones for a big play last week for a touchdown. He looks like he's back to his old self of gaining a lot of yardage, throwing for a couple touchdowns, and having an interception. The defense, on the other hand, of the Lions is awful. They're giving up 413 yards per game, 30 points almost per game. And the Panthers as well. They don't have any defense, and they're giving up almost 30 points a game as well. So the over was put at 47 for this game. That's kind of low with two offenses and two teams that might not really care where their season's going. I know Detroit has the playoffs in view, but I don't think they believe in themselves that much. So look for like a 35-28 game, and we're going to take over 47, Detroit Panthers over 47 as our 5th best bet of the week. Moving on to number 4. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one is a confusing line. It opened at, I believe, 10.5. And that's kind of where it stood when we're making this video right now. The Jags are 1-8, and the Steelers are 9-0. So how is it only a 10.5 point spread? It's kind of scary. The bookmakers might know something we don't know. Last week, the Steelers beat the Bengals, destroyed them. It was 36-10. Joe Burrow didn't look good. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is the real deal. On the other side, the Jags lost to Green Bay. They did cover that spread too. They were a 2-touchdown underdog and only lost by 4, 24-20, and had a chance at the end of the game to actually win if they could have put some plays together. Minshew again is out, and Luton is going to play. It's his 3rd start, so we're going to see how he does. Now, Burrow, who I think is way better than Luton, didn't do anything against that Pittsburgh defense. So I doubt that Jake Luton is going to be able to do anything as well. The rookie Shenault is also out, so he loses that target to go to. But on the flip side, James Robinson is having a great running year. He's getting about 120 yards per outing, or total scrimmage yards per go. Their defense, though, is the youngest in the league at 32 points per game. They're just giving up so many points. And I'm going to be honest, Ben Roethlisberger, he went last week without even having practice because he was on the COVID list. He's going to have a full week of practice against before he goes against these Jags. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a blowout. I don't know why the bookmakers made this minus 10.5. It seems like a trap line, but it's going to be a blowout. I'm guessing 35-14, something like that. The defense of Pittsburgh is too much. They have only allowed 5 touchdowns through the air all season long. So that's incredible. We'll see what happens. But take the Steelers minus 10.5 as our 4th best play of the week. Now, getting into our top 3 plays of the week. Let's go to those Bengals we were just talking about and the Washington football team, which we mentioned earlier, who lost to Detroit on a last-second Prater field goal. So Cincinnati, we just went over. They did not play well. Burrow looked awful, but Burrow is maturing as a quarterback. This guy is throwing 12 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. Mixon is going to be out in this matchup, but Giovanni Bernard, he's a good running back. This guy's been in the league for a few 3, 4, 5 years, I think. And he gets touches, and he can get over 100 yards rushing. And Washington is a bad football team. We know that. Everybody scores points against them. They're 2-7. As we mentioned, they lost 27-30 to the Lions, and they have one of their targets out, which is Inman. So Alex Smith is going to be without one of his wide receivers. Not looking great overall for Washington to probably pull out a win. The line was +1, -1. I think Cincinnati is a very short underdog on the money line, and that's where we're going to take them. We're going to take the Bengals straight up to beat the Washington football team. Washington has nothing to play for. The only person on that team that has anything to play for is Alex Smith. It's kind of remarkable, his journey and what has brought him back and how he played last week. It was a great feel-good moment. But he's not the same player he was 3 years ago. Joe Burrow looks good. 12 TDs, 5 interceptions, as we mentioned. He's going to throw at least 2 or 3 touchdown passes in this matchup, and look for the Cincinnati Bengals to win outright. We're going to take this on the money line, and you can get it at +118, 120. So our 3rd best play of the week is Cincinnati on the money line at plus money. So moving on to our 2nd best bet of the week. This is going to be a little bit crazy. We're taking Atlanta and New Orleans, and we're going to go over 51.5. And you might be asking yourself, why in the world would you do that? Drew Brees is out. Atlanta doesn't look great on offense. Well, I'm going to tell you something. They're coming off a bye week. They're rested, and you're going up against a New Orleans team who isn't that good on defense as well. They're giving up about 24 points per game in over 6 of their games. Michael Thomas, he's having an unbelievable year. He's not going to have Drew Brees thrown to him. And a shocking revelation that came out yesterday is Jameis Winston, the backup, he's not even going to start. Tyson Hill is going to start. But Winston is going to be used at some times too. And because of that, I think Atlanta's awful defense, that's going to throw them a wrench in what their game plan is. They're going to have to prep for 2 different quarterbacks. And you know what? They give about 31 points a game. They're not very good on defense. On offense, though, Matt Ryan is having a hell of a year. 280 in the last 4 games he's thrown for. In the last 3 out of the 4 weeks, they've had 25 points or more. Kamara's playing well. Hilson, Winston, all those guys can put up numbers, and against an Atlanta defense, the numbers are going to be there. I see like a close game, 28-27, something like that, but the number is going to get over. I feel like we're going to have to sweat this one out to get over that 51.5. Something like a late touchdown or maybe a late pick 6 from Winston, which we know he can do. So our 2nd best bet of the week is going to be Atlanta and New Orleans over 51.5. And moving on, our number 1 play of NFL Week 11 is going to be between the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins. So Tua is looking like Rookie of the Year. This guy came in, I believe, 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, really, but he started 3 times. And people were like, why are we benching Ryan Fitzmagic? Why are we doing that? Well, the question's been answered. Tua is game managing and getting wins for the Dolphins. But one thing he's not doing is passing a lot. Out of the 3 games he started, he has only eclipsed 200 yards one time. Their defense is what's keeping them in the games and what's winning the games for them. So over the past 3 weeks, in all 3 of the wins, the defense and the where they've started on the field is what is allowing the Dolphins to win those games. The defense has scored 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, and they have started at the opponent's 35-yard line or better 5 different times. That is nuts. So it has been very easy for Tua to manage that offense and get them points. On the flip side, the Broncos, they can put up some points as well. A couple of weeks ago at Atlanta, they put up 30+. This game's going to come down to turnovers. Now, the only thing is, Fant and Locke are questionable for this game. If Locke doesn't go, though, Jeff Driscoll more than likely will play, and he did start a couple games this year and did very well. On the flip side, the secondary might be missing Van Noy. He is questionable in Miami, on Miami's defense in the secondary. So that might open some room for either Locke or Driscoll to manage the game and score some points. So we're going to take the Broncos plus 3.5. It's Tua's first time to Mile High Stadium. And if you haven't played at Mile High Stadium, during the third quarter, he might struggle. And I think it's going to come down to turnovers. Who throws interceptions and where are the special teams making plays? And we think it's going to be Denver at home, who are getting 3.5 points. So you want to take the Broncos plus 3.5 as your number 1 play of the week. So that's it, guys, for Week 11. Thanks for joining me at grandstandbetters.com. We always give you free plays. Just a quick recap of our bets for Week 11. You got the Lions, Panthers over 47. You got the Steelers minus 10.5 over those Jags. Cincinnati on the money line against Washington football team. Atlanta, New Orleans without Drew Brees over 51.5 points. And you got the Broncos plus 3, saddening Tua for his first NFL loss. So sit back, relax, enjoy NFL week number 11. As always, let us do the work while you do the winning.